Imagine a car that never pulls into a gas station, a car that never plugs into a charger, a car that just runs forever. Automobile high voltage. It sounds impossible, right? Yet one man from Africa, Maxwell Chikumbutso, has once again stunned the world. He's back with a $14,000 car that could flip the auto industry upside down. And some say, even in the era of Tesla, Toyota, and every fuel-based machine on Earth. But the story gets deeper, because while the world is obsessed with batteries, charging networks, and soaring gas prices, Maxwell may have just quietly built the future of transportation, and the world's most powerful industries aren't ready for it. Maxwell Chikumbutso is not your typical Silicon Valley billionaire. He's a self-taught Zimbabwean inventor, a man who grew up far away from the shiny labs of MIT or the mega factories of China. Yet, his mind has produced technologies that sound like they came straight from a science fiction novel. Self-powered generators, helicopters, even military vehicles that don't rely on fuel. Maxwell's latest creation is priced at just $14,000, cheaper than most entry-level sedans today. But here's the shocking part. This car doesn't need gasoline, it doesn't need charging stations, and it doesn't need solar panels. Instead, it runs on a self-sustaining energy system, technology so advanced that engineers around the world are left scratching their heads. Imagine driving across the Sahara Desert, through the busy streets of New York, or across rural villages with zero concern for fuel or charging. That's the promise. Think about the impact. Entire oil economies will be shaken. The electric vehicle charging business, worth billions, could collapse overnight. And companies like Tesla, BYD, Toyota, and Ford would have no choice but to face a technology that breaks the very model they're built on. But here's the twist. History shows us that disruptive technologies often face powerful resistance. From Nikola Tesla's free energy visions to early electric cars that oil companies buried, innovations like these rarely make it to mass production without a fight. Already, whispers of Maxwell's breakthrough are spreading across Africa, China, and even the Pentagon. Some call it impossible. Others claim it's the invention of the century. And a few quietly suggest that if Maxwell's car truly works as claimed, it could trigger the biggest industrial showdown of our lifetime. Is Maxwell Chikumbutso about to be celebrated as the African genius who liberated the world from fuel and charging stations? Or will his invention vanish into silence, buried by industries that thrive on control? One thing is certain. This story isn't just about a car. It's about the future of freedom, energy, and the power of one mind to challenge the world's most powerful empires. If you found this as fascinating as I did, smash that like button, subscribe for more breakthrough stories, and let me know in the comments. Would you drive a self-powered car if it cost just $14,000? Oncoming automobile sparkles. Now here's where it gets truly mysterious. Maxwell hasn't fully revealed the exact mechanics of his invention. Some experts suggest it could be tapping into advanced electromagnetic principles, while others whisper about zero-point energy, a concept mainstream science has long dismissed as impossible. But history is filled with impossible things that later became everyday life. Remember when people said human flight was fantasy? Or when the first cell phone was called a rich man's toy? Today, we take airplanes and smartphones for granted. Could Maxwell's car be the next leap? Let's be honest. The global economy is built on fuel. Oil powers nations. Wars are fought over it. And trillion-dollar industries depend on our addiction to energy. Even the electric vehicle revolution, led by giants like Tesla and BYD, isn't about free energy. It's about shifting control from oil to lithium, from gas stations to charging stations. But what happens when someone walks in with a technology that needs neither? No fuel, no charging, no grid. This isn't just an invention. It's a threat to the very foundation of modern economics. This isn't Maxwell's first time challenging the status quo. Years ago, he built self-charging generators and military drones that raised eyebrows across Africa. But many of his breakthroughs were met with skepticism, resistance, and even silence. Some say powerful interests push back. Others claim Maxwell didn't have the funding or industrial backing to scale. Yet despite all obstacles, he kept inventing, kept pushing forward. And now, with his $14,000 self-powered car, he might have created something too big to ignore. What makes this story even more powerful is where it's happening. For decades, Africa has been seen as a consumer of technology, not a birthplace of it. But Maxwell's work challenges that narrative. Imagine if the future of clean, unlimited transportation didn't come from Silicon Valley, Tokyo, or Beijing, but from Zimbabwe. A continent often overlooked could suddenly find itself leading the most important industrial revolution of the century. If this car truly runs forever, who will allow it to see the light of day? Will governments embrace it or suppress it? Will automakers adopt the technology or fight it tooth and nail? Because history shows us one chilling truth. The greater the invention, the greater the resistance. And this is only the beginning of Maxwell's story. Behind closed doors, the world's biggest automakers are already whispering. Think about it. Companies like Toyota, Volkswagen, Tesla, and Ford have invested hundreds of billions into electric vehicles, battery factories, and charging infrastructure. If Maxwell's $14,000 car becomes real on a global scale, that investment could collapse overnight. Imagine the stock market shock. Imagine the panic inside oil-rich nations. Imagine charging networks worth billions suddenly becoming worthless. This isn't just disruption, it's extinction for some industries. And extinction breeds desperation. History has shown us again and again, revolutionary technologies rarely spread without resistance. Nikola Tesla dreamed of transmitting free wireless energy to the world. Yet his projects mysteriously vanished after pressure from powerful financiers. Stanley Meyer claimed to run a car on water and died under suspicious circumstances. Now, Maxwell Chikumbutso stands at that same crossroads. A car that runs forever threatens trillion-dollar energy markets, and markets don't surrender without a fight. There are already whispers that certain organizations want to study Maxwell's invention. Others suggest they want to buy him out. But here's the dangerous part. Not everyone wants this technology to succeed. Imagine the oil giants, the lithium kings, and even governments who tax fuel revenues. Do you think they would welcome a machine that eliminates their control? Or would they quietly move to suppress it, bury it, or even claim it was never real? But what if this time things are different? Africa is no longer silent. With rising economies, global attention, and growing independence, perhaps this continent won't let its innovations be stolen or buried. Maxwell's car could be the spark that ignites Africa's position as a global technology leader. For once, the world may not be able to silence an idea whose time has come. If Maxwell's car is truly real, it raises an even bigger question. What else is possible? If we can drive forever without fuel or charging, can we fly without ever refueling? Can we power entire cities with self-sustaining energy? Can humanity finally break free from the chains of energy dependence? Because if this car exists, it's not just a vehicle. It's a key to a future the world has been told is impossible. If this car really works as Maxwell claims, it won't just disrupt industries. It will shake governments to their core. Entire nations depend on oil exports. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Venezuela rely on fuel sales to keep their economies alive. Now imagine a future where cars don't need fuel, where tankers sit idle and oil pipelines run dry. And it's not just oil. Think about electricity. Nations investing billions into nuclear plants, hydro dams, and massive solar farms would suddenly face an unexpected competitor, a single African inventor with a car that powers itself. This is why many analysts believe powerful groups may already be strategizing. Because when something threatens the financial arteries of the world, it becomes more than an invention. It becomes a weapon. Energy isn't just business. It's power, politics, and global control. If a $14,000 car can free millions of people from fuel and charging, governments fear they might lose their leverage over citizens. That's why the pushback could be enormous. Sources close to the auto industry suggest that certain companies may already be watching Maxwell very closely. Some want to partner with him. Others, they might want to bury him. Remember, when disruptive ideas appear, corporations usually react in two ways: buy it and control it, destroy it before it spreads. Which path will they take with Maxwell? That remains the billion-dollar question. But here's the twist. Unlike past inventors whose breakthroughs were hidden, Maxwell has something that earlier pioneers didn't: the power of the internet. News spreads faster than ever before. A single video, a single leaked blueprint, or even a test drive can reach millions overnight. If Maxwell's car is seen on the roads of Africa, the story won't be so easy to silence. Once ordinary people taste freedom from fuel and charging, there's no going back. While the headlines show a bold African inventor with a world-changing car, behind the scenes Maxwell's life has been anything but easy. He has faced funding collapses, skepticism from academics, and at times, even threats. There are stories of deals that suddenly vanished, investors who backed out under mysterious circumstances, and moments where his project seemed destined to disappear. Yet somehow, he keeps coming back. Stronger, louder, more determined. It's as if he knows something the world isn't ready to admit, that his inventions are not just real, but unstoppable. Whispers in tech circles suggest that Maxwell has already received quiet offers from international corporations. Offers worth millions, maybe even billions, not to mass-produce his car, but to shelve it. This is where the story takes a fascinating turn. Across Africa and beyond, people are rallying around Maxwell's name. He represents more than an invention. He represents hope. Hope that Africa can create, lead, and innovate at the highest level. Imagine thousands, even millions, of people demanding this technology, building a grassroots movement so powerful that no corporation or government can suppress it. If the people refuse to let go, this car could spread faster than anyone anticipates. Picture this. Oil-rich nations lobbying to stop it, automakers trying to discredit it, tech giants racing to copy it, and ordinary people cheering for it. That's not just an invention. It's a revolution in motion. And revolutions, once they begin, are nearly impossible to control. The $14,000 self-powered car isn't just about transportation anymore. It's about freedom, sovereignty, and who gets to control the future of energy. The story of Maxwell Chikumbutso has only just begun. As whispers turn into headlines and headlines into global debates, Maxwell Chikumbutso finds himself at crossroads. On one side, the unimaginable wealth and safety that come with selling his invention to powerful corporations. On the other, the dangerous but noble path of bringing it to the people, unchanged, unowned, and unrestricted. The world is watching. Africa is watching. And the giants of oil, auto, and energy are bracing for impact. In the end, it wasn't governments or corporations that decided the fate of the $14,000 car. It was the people. Leaked videos of test drives, testimonials from those who had seen the car run without fuel or charging, and the sheer persistence of Maxwell's vision made it impossible to erase. Even if corporations tried to bury it, the idea had already escaped. Once the world glimpsed a car that ran forever, there was no turning back. The genie was out of the bottle. Maybe, in the end, the $14,000 self-powered car is more than just a machine. Maybe it's proof that human ingenuity knows no borders, that genius can rise from anywhere, that the age of dependence on fuel, on charging, on industries that profit from scarcity might finally be ending. Maxwell Chikumbutso's invention reminds us of one truth. The future isn't owned by corporations, governments, or superpowers. The future belongs to those bold enough to create it.